This is the Last Giddy Farmer Podcast.
Hello everyone, it's the Last Giddy Farmer Podcast. It's the number one podcast in Lagos, don't forget, where you learn a lot about farming, agriculture, running sustainable agricultural businesses, learning what is new, being kept abreast with opportunities in the sector. And you know how we run it. Today I have an important guest in the house. Many of you may know him, and his name goes by Kayode Oyeleke Samuel. He's the CEO of Bliss Farm Integrated
Chain of
Kitchen
restaurants, yes.
and all that. So I'm going to leave him to give us a bit of introduction about himself, so you get to know him better. Hello, Mr. Kayode. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing me on this platform, Last Giddy Farmer. Well, like you said earlier, my name is Oyeleke Oluwakayode S, and I'm the MD and CEO of Nature's Bliss Nigeria Limited, which is the parent company to Bliss Farm Kitchen and Bar, operating out of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. So what we do basically is we are a food production, agricultural company, a food production and value addition company. We specialize in the two aspects of agriculture, which is animal husbandry, and we have our focus on pig farming and catfish farming, as well as crop farming, where we specialize on likes of tomatoes, peppers, sweet corn, just to mention a few. And then the food processing and the value addition aspect of our company is Bliss Farm Kitchen. Bliss Farm Kitchen, a lot of people ask me that question, why Bliss Farm Kitchen? What does Bliss Farm have to do with a kitchen? So basically, it's just the concept is Bliss Farm Kitchen is a kitchen under Bliss Farm. That means whatever we produce from Bliss Farm, we take it further by adding value to making it into a complete meal. So in our restaurants, we can boldly say that we at least use roughly 70% of fresh food produce, either grown by us, by our company, or outsourced from farmer friends like us, So we have a key focus of producing food that is made from farm fresh ingredients. So that's where the name comes from, Bliss Farm Kitchen. So as our slogan says, where farm fresh meets great taste.
Great taste.
So for those that have that can bear witness, people that have been, our customers can bear witness that our meals are some of the best tasting meals that you can find around, and stemming from the fact that we use some of the freshest ingredients in preparing our meals. So that's
interesting, Mr. Kayode. Like, we've got a whole lot of interesting stuff here, from the farm, value addition, to the kitchen, using of fresh food. It tells of the integrated purpose that you mentioned. Everything comes right from the farm to the kitchen. It's almost like a circular system. No waste at all. No waste. And there is this sort of traceability. You are sure of what
our source, where we're getting,
and what you are giving to customers. That's a very interesting concept. So,
thank you very much.
Based on all this, in fact, it's one of the reasons why we brought you here. Okay. I'm sure you are aware, like, the whole business landscape for agribusiness has not been really that favorable.
Yes.
We've had issues of cash crunch, Russia-Ukraine war, with
insecurity
and all that. So a lot of farms have gone bust, especially small farms. So that's why we have you here to help us understand, some of these issues and how we can overcome some of these issues
Challenges,
so that
yes.
people can learn from you. One thing that I've seen is that one of the most impacted sector when we had the COVID and other microeconomic events is actually the hospitality sector.
Exactly.
When we had the lockdown and
Lockdown,
people
yes.
couldn't go to restaurants and all that, sales drop, although we started having online ordering.
Yes.
Yeah. But now, looking at Bliss Farm and Bliss Farm Kitchen, during all this period, Bliss Farm didn't fold and it grew to having multiple branches,
Yes.
like having in Ojo. But I'm sure
Exactly.
that you have a lot of
We have
branches,
6 currently.
6 branches out there.
Yes.
And another thing now is that if you look at the average lifespan of restaurants, is about 3 to 5 years. Now, when we say when a restaurant goes through this period, you can say there is over 50% possibility that it's going to be a lifetime business. So during these 3 to 5 years, about more than 60% of them fail. So it's really something that we have to talk about today. Like, could you help us with some of the challenges that you've had, with ensuring competitive pricing for the customers, looking at how some of these macroeconomic events have affected the input supply chain?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. As much as possible, we've one of the, like I said, one of the um, aside from the fact that the health benefits that we will get from using farm fresh and locally sourced produce, we also get to save some money by sourcing directly from the farm. So that way we are able to save some costs and by that reduce some of our prices. So in a way we've been able to remain competitive in terms of pricing and how the economy has changed in the past 2 3 years. You understand? And then as regards the COVID period, how we were able to survive um, regardless of, thank God for the government of Oyo State, which allowed some certain businesses, some essential businesses like restaurants to remain in business at that period. So, I mean, that was one of the saving grace that we had. See hard working customers, regardless, even though you had to um, maintain all of the COVID rules, the hand sanitizer, hand wash, and all of that. We did all of that, but we're able to stay in business all through that period. And basically, I would just say one of the major things that have helped is the approach of cost reduction, which we do by sourcing locally. So the price I get my chicken is probably not the price most of other restaurants will get theirs because they are probably getting from wholesalers, right? I'm getting directly from the farmers and then I process the same, the same way the wholesalers will buy from the farmers and then process their own chicken and then sell to restaurants, sell to the retailers, right? But me, I don't buy from the wholesalers. I buy from the farmers. I process like the wholesaler and then I use. So the price I'll get my chicken is not the price any other person will get their own. So that way I can definitely reduce my own price and remain competitive in that way. So I've always been a fan of the cost reduction approach to making profits. So by the time you reduce your cost to get the same result or even a superior result to the same thing that everybody is doing, you and Mr. A and Mr. B are doing the same thing, but their cost of production is different, but the same product is coming out. So the person with the lower cost of production gets more profit. So that has always been my approach and that has helped us to stay in business.
That's really interesting. Let me unpack it for the audience here. You mentioned, growing your own inputs in the like of maize. We know that maize is the chief constituent of feed for chicken. Like you use chicken in your restaurant, obviously, where you can get your maize from your own farm. So yeah, rest assured, it's not only even about price, it's about consistency. Because if you can get maize cheaply but it's not consistent, it's really a big problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, another thing that you mentioned is exploiting or exploring network. Like you have network of contractual farmers.
Yes, exactly.
You've been regular with them, and they trust you to always come to them, and you have good bargains. So it's just to the audience out there that network and establishing good relationship with your suppliers is very important. In fact,
Exactly.
you'll be surprised that a lot of businesses now, they see suppliers as their partners, just as they see customers important to them. Because
Exactly.
without suppliers, actually, you can't function, and without customers themselves, you can't also function. So that's really
And
really.
then suppliers as well, help the business in so many ways. Most suppliers, I mean, I can say for myself, I can't speak for others, but as far as I know, many suppliers supply on credit now, and by the time you are reliable enough to always pay back, and you have a very good understanding and standing relationship with your suppliers. So whoever is giving me chicken, the farmer knows, okay, if he sells chicken to me and is getting his money in two payments, half upfront, half in 2 weeks, when it is expected that I must have sold all the chicken. You understand? So suppliers are like, I agree with you that suppliers are equally important, and keeping a relationship with them is actually important in maintaining the business and keeping the business alive. Because when customers come and you don't have what they require, then it's a big problem for your business.
That's really good, because with what you said, I see that trust is really a key ingredient
And
in
integrity.
and integrity in establishing a good relationship with the suppliers. And I also took something out of that, like having this kind of agreement. Like I will be taking it this time, and I will be paying this time, so that there won't be disruption with supply. That's really important. So now, in terms of the internal and external components that keeps a business running, like we said, I want to digress a bit into the internal aspect in terms of the employees themselves. Like during this, the issues of all these macroeconomic events that we've had, we know that especially in the hospitality sector, it has affected, workforce, whereby, workers, they leave, or even businesses, they lay off workers. It sort of bring this kind of traumatic event to the workers themselves. They love this company, they want to work for this company, but due to one reason or the other, they can't stay. They've got bills to pay and all that. So during all this period, with all these events that we've experienced, how have you been able to, to maintain your workforce, and to inspire your workers to be able to give you the best?
Well, one thing one thing everybody that comes around me would notice is that both on the farm and in the restaurant, I treat all of my staff as family. So first of all, I pay them as at when due. So because they've they've held their end of the bargain by coming to work and being productive for the month. So once it's the end of the month, I have no reason holding onto their money unnecessarily. So one of the things we do, is prompt payment of salaries, and which is something that can motivate workers to know that yes, they have a good welfare package at the company they are working at. Another thing that we have done is we've been able to, how do I put it now? We've been able to motivate and compensate those that have been exceptional, right? So those that, it's very obvious that they are giving the company their best. Try as much as possible to motivate them by, in most cases, promoting them even to, more positions of um, value. So one thing we don't, one of my models is once I need a a staff, maybe a top management staff or a new manager or a new supervisor, we don't go out hunting for a new supervisor. What we do is we look for one of the regular staff that has the credentials and at the same time has been exceptional in showing that they can be trusted with so much. So instead of going out to now look for new managers or a supervisor, what we do is we promote such a person. So we've had cases of you know regular waiting staff becoming managers and stuff like that. So that alone speaks to the rest of the staff that there is no limit to where what they can attain in the company. Do you understand? As much as possible, we try to compensate, in equal value to whatever value we are getting from the staff. And then lastly, I think one of the most important things in human life is food, which is what we are also dealing with, which is our our main business, food. So I realized that when even the staff they are hungry, then their productivity is not 100%.
It drops.
Drops. And then when in a situation whereby we now, say, okay, maybe we have a lunch break for them to go out to go and get their meals or whatever, we'll have some of them that won't return to work as at when due or as at when the lunch break is over just because they went outside to get food and so many other factors considered. So we decided that regardless of how many staff we have a meal ticket, a lunch meal ticket for each of our staff to the tune of 1,000 naira. So every staff, as long as you come to work every day, you are entitled to 1,000 naira meal, same quality as what is being sold in the restaurant. So, when you even take that out of someone's daily routine, you've at least taken care of one square meal.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
the rest of the day becomes a lot easier for that person.
Exactly.
So that way, we've also been able to keep our staff motivated and keeping positive atmosphere you know, around the company at all times. We do not allow staff to keep malice and have issues within themselves. As much as possible, we treat ourselves as family. We see ourselves as family, and we've been thriving to the glory of God.
Yeah. So, Mr. K, that was a brilliant submission, and
Yeah.
it shows that you have this very robust understanding of management concept. The strategic aspect and the operational aspect, the two things that make up the management aspect. Yeah, so I'm just going to, like I used to do, to recap the whole thing so that the audience can
Follow us.
better understand what was said, and I expand on it. So share more insight. So with what you've said, yeah, I could see that you sort of balance between monetary motivation and non-monetary motivation, and is what we've seen in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That we understand that people have this basic needs for survival and shelter, and they also have these other needs for belongingness, self-worth, self-esteem, and the highest one is self-actualization, where they have, autonomy
Yeah, exactly.
and to do all that thing. So I'm really, really happy that you're one of those people, that compensates and pay workers very well, because you see it as a sort of contractual agreement that the workers are supplying labor and the owner or the CEO of the business is supplying the capital and input. Because without the worker, it doesn't work here, and
Definitely.
without the input, it doesn't work as well. So that's very, very important. So you sort of employ that. Okay, if we socialize the worker enough, then socialization, like putting them in a setting whereby they start seeing the organization like it's theirs. Like you give them freedom
That
to
sense
do
of
things, to
belonging,
take
yes.
responsibility. You are invested in their
Growth.
personal and self-development, like you said, whereby they see themselves that they can take on new roles to become manager. Yeah. So they then tend to personalize the organization. That's really,
Yeah,
really,
we
really
Thank you
good.
for
I like
the
your side.
beautiful response so far. Running this great business for quite some time, I must expect that you've had the wins and all that, but there must definitely be the challenges, especially if there is one big challenge that is one of your greatest challenges that you've faced so far. Could you share any if you have?
Yes, thank you. There's nothing good that comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. So definitely we must have our challenges. Well, one of our everyday challenge is, having to, in the kind of business we run, which is a fast food business, we are expected to open our doors for business every day of the year, regardless of holidays uh, or whatnot. Only if, for special reasons, maybe on election days and days like that, that we might have to shut down business. But this is a business that we have to keep showing up for every day. So that alone is a challenge on its own. As humans, you need some time to also attend to other things, but the love and the commitment and the sense of commitment, yes, and service that we have to render to our customers daily keeps us going. So regardless of whatever, we have to keep showing up for our customers daily, which is a challenge, but one way or the other, we've been able to, show up every day and get our work done, even across all branches. Another thing is this unstable prices of inputs is a big challenge, is a major challenge because prices may change 3 to 4 times in a space of 2 weeks. So now, do we keep changing our own prices too as service providers to our customers? So it's always a big challenge. We always try to find a way to balance, having to stay profitable and at the same time having to satisfy our customers always. That is also um, another challenge. Another challenge is issue of power. We all know the situation of power in the country and our kind of business. Power is in fact power is the backbone of most businesses. So in our business, we need power to keep our lobbies cold, to keep our food warm, to do a lot of things, to keep our drinks cold. We need power to do it. So it's not, you can't run a restaurant business without power. Even on the other side, on the farm, you need power to do a lot of things. If not anything, you need power to pump water, which is a major factor, a major component on the farm is water. So power is a major challenge. Recently, we've had fuel scarcity. It was a really huge challenge, having to get source for fuel to keep our generators on in that kind of period, because customers, they don't care what you have to do to, you are in business, you have to keep your food warm. There has to be light. Can't keep customers in a heatery with so much heat.
Exactly.
So we have to, just go all out. Even buy fuel as much as 1,200 per liter, just to make sure that we can keep our business running. So
Yeah.
power, that's another major
Yeah, yeah,
challenge.
yeah. It gets me emotional
I
actually.
know
You know,
it's
like
really sad, but
the nature of business itself is that is important to the economy. It employs a lot of people. When it employs people, you know, they gain income, have disposable income, purchasing power to be able to get things and keep the economy running. Is like a cyclical event. So when we have this truncated, then there's a problem. But I like the fact that you see the challenge as no, you don't see the challenge that you face as a challenge, but you see it as an opportunity to
exactly,
serve the customer. And to the
definitely.
other challenge that you mentioned in terms of you know the prices of inputs fluctuating, when I asked about how you manage to stay afloat in the previous question that I asked, that you said you grow some inputs in-house and you establish network with suppliers. But I was still having in my mind that there will be some external challenge or challenges that you face. So this is one of it that you've mentioned. You keep having changes in prices every now and then, and you have to keep adjusting to that. So it doesn't really help
Business.
with making informed decision, because businesses, you have to be able to know that this is the amount that we want to get our input, factor out the cost of everything, cost of service, cost of labor, and all that, and fix your retailing price. Yeah, so it doesn't make all that easy. And
When the prices keep fluctuating.
yeah, and to your third challenge, the issue of power
Power, yes.
is really, really something that constitute a great challenge. I would imagine, and before it used to be that if you can't get fuel, you can easily go for the alternative, that's the diesel. But you have a case whereby the diesel now is now higher than the price of fuel.
Petrol, yes.
Like the diesel burns slow, but
Mm-hmm.
it's higher.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
fuel is lower, but although the price of the fuel is lower, I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about the petrol, but it's not really that low.
Yeah,
But it has seen like multiple fold increases here, but it burns faster, so there is no
exactly.
really alternative out there. So
Exactly.
it's just like struggling. So I would think that we have some of people that can make decisions, or they sit in the table where decisions are being made. They are listening to us. They can
Definitely.
share our plight and work
Do
on things.
something
I know
about
that
it.
a lot of things are in the pipeline working.
Definitely.
Yeah, but we just pray that all these things get implemented sooner and things change for the better.
Better.
So
So it's
I'll
possible.
just move on to the next question. We've had a lot of revolutionary changes and futuristic ideas from Bliss Farm and Bliss Kitchen. That it keeps me excited that maybe we have something in the future to see from Bliss Farm. Maybe in the future we have like automated restaurant.
Futures.
Like what should we be expecting in the future from Bliss Farm?
Well, we keep growing, we keep evolving. So in the nearest future, we're looking at multiple branches, even across the country and beyond the shores of the country. We're currently in Ibadan, but we are hoping that before the end of the year, we can expand out to neighboring states and eventually even move beyond the shores of the nation. So that is what to expect. We are planning to bring the goodness of um, delicious, um, ill, hygienically prepared food, healthy food to everybody. We are, committed to bringing it closer to everybody. We believe that everyone deserves to have to have a taste of the natural goodness that we serve. So, as much as possible, God willing, to by the grace of God, we are hoping to branch out as much as possible.
Yep.
That's what to expect.
I'm really excited. So I look forward
Thank you.
to,
So we'll probably be coming to Lagos very soon by
yeah.
God's grace.
Then you are coming to Las Gidi Farm.
100, 100,
No, so we look forward to having you in Lagos
100. Yeah, we
actually.
know
Yeah.
we know we have
That's
a we have good network
exactly.
already in
Yep.
Lagos
Yep.
of even farmers. Having someone like Las Gidi farmer,
Exactly.
so we
Exactly.
we have we have no issues
Yep.
moving
So
forward.
regarding what you said now, I just want to, enlighten the audience. Like a lot of people, they get into, agriculture, doing farming and agribusiness, and start seeing everyone as their competitor. It doesn't really work that way now. A lot of
Can
businesses,
collaborate.
they collaborate to do a lot of things. So one of the things that I want our audience out there to pick out from what we are discussing today is that you move faster through collaboration. But collaboration does not mean that we are not committed to the
Individual goals.
individual mission
Mm-hmm.
of our organization,
Exactly.
servicing our customers and paying returns to our shareholders here. So it's really, really important. So I want to ask you the penultimate question before the last one. So I get to know the true strength of Bliss Farm and Bliss Kitchen. We have a lot of restaurants out there, and we have a lot of bigger brands and foreign established brand or foreign backed brands rather.
Mhm.
You know, and I want to know like what sets Bliss Farm apart from or what is the unique strength, the unique value proposition. I would imagine that businesses, they have this sort of pastel framework, SWOT analysis. They've analyzed everything, they're able to position themselves and differentiate themselves from others. So what would you?
Well, I would say what sets us apart is the basic fact that we not only grow some of our inputs, we also locally source for the freshest inputs, which is something you can hardly find in most other similar establishments. So that means we have a certain level of control on what goes into our meals and then what we give out to our customers. Currently, as I'm speaking to you, we are currently processing about 100 kilo of sweet corn, which is going to be used in preparation of our meals from fried rice to spaghetti. Think about anything that needs sweet corn, So we don't in I can't particularly say now, but in a very long time, we've not used the canned sweet corn in preparation of our meals. We've always been using farm fresh sweet corn that we get from our farm. We harvest, we process it, um, and freeze them, and then use over time. So instead of the canned sweet corn that has gone through a lot of chemical processes, chemical preservation, is stored in a can, has a shelf life of probably 3 years, you know. So instead of using that, we use the natural one gotten from the farm. So likewise, the peppers we use, um, bell peppers, even down to carrots, down to chicken. Sometimes we use organic chicken. So we have this level of control on what goes into our meal. And I think that is something that sets us apart from other
That's
establishments.
great because I've tried the taste of sweet corn. It's very, very different from
Definitely.
uh, corn of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I taste the corn from the canned corn
Yeah.
is not really the
The
same.
same,
Is
yes. There's
there's a big difference,
difference in the
and
taste.
what I see is that the brine that
Mm-hmm.
they use to preserve the corn, maybe many of the restaurants they don't wash
Wash
it
it
off,
away,
so
yes.
it's not really healthy and
Healthy.
hygienic. Yeah, so the value proposition that you are giving to people now is that you are giving them healthy food option. Yeah, and also what I've seen that you've been able to put out that you adopt is what I'm seeing that new companies are incorporating, giving customers unique experience. Like customers can come to visit your farm, they see how things are being done, how their foods are being grown
Prepare,
and
yes.
being prepared and taken to the restaurant. So it gives them this sort of customer journey, food journey that they see and they really appreciate. It brings this organic loyalty and
Yeah.
interaction. That's really great. So I'll just add on to the last question because we are beyond the time stipulated for this podcast. But I wouldn't like to put the audience behind. They have to
Mm-hmm.
learn something really important right now. You know, Bliss Farm has been able to establish many of its goals aligned to its vision in a number of years. Yeah. And I see that you are as the CEO, you have this kind of um, capacity, to envision things and actually
Bring it to life.
bring it to reality. And so for from newbies out there, they are playing in the agriculture sector, seeking to play in the agriculture sector. I would imagine the advice that you have for them. Maybe they are struggling or maybe they are thinking of how they would get into the sector and get along and make something for themselves.
So,
And I want you to address this crucial question here, is that do they have to run the way others run, like they have to quickly grow or they have to establish restaurant? Is there room for everyone, specialization, or you should keep on with what you do?
yeah. So, one very beautiful thing about agriculture is that there's an opportunity at every level of the value chain. There's always an opportunity. You just have to look out for that opportunity. You have to think outside of the box to look out for that opportunity and then grab the opportunities. Not everybody has to um, run a food business, but for me, um, the opportunity I saw was that I needed to start a food business. For another person, it could be something else. Everybody, there's, like I said, there's an opportunity at every step of the value chain. You don't have to become a farmer to become a key player in the agri sector. You don't actually have to become a farmer. I know people that don't own farms, but they make millions by adding value to whatever they get from farmers and then they sell at a premium. We have people that export fish, snails, and the likes. They've done their assignment, they've done their homework, they know the quality to supply their customers, they know how to go about it. All they have to do now is source for it, then they sell and they even get paid in hard currency, and they are not doing as much work as the farmer is actually doing on the farm. So there's an opportunity for everyone. For me, where my farm was situated, the local government, then I realized that there was no eatery, there was no food establishment. If I needed to get food, I would have to spend about 1,400 naira on transport to get to where I need to buy food before coming back to my farm. So that was one of the things that made me think of starting a small food business, because there's this saying that when you want to make money, you look for a problem around you, you solve that problem, and then the money will come. So the problem I solved around me was the fact that I knew there were no restaurants, there were no eateries where people can easily go and get a very nice and decent meal, right? And that was the opportunity I saw. So not like that was the only thing I could do, but that was the opportunity I saw and that I needed to key into. So I was able to key into it, and by the grace of God, it has become what it has become today. Another thing that I would say is perseverance. It may sound cliche, like that's what every motivational person, motivational speaker will tell you, to persevere, to keep going. But truly, that is just the reality. You have to keep going, you have to keep eating the same spot till you um, are able to get the results you are looking for. You must learn to never give up, because nothing good comes easy. I've said it earlier. So you may try something, you may try and not get the result you're looking for. So instead of giving up, just change your approach. Look for another way to go about it. I would say this: when I started the food business, one way or the other, it's not like it took off immediately with maybe customers and all of that. So we had issues of food wastage and all of that, still trying to get things right. That led me, the issue of food wastage, right, led me to acquiring a pig. Then that was when I had my first sow, you know. And why I did that was, well, instead of wasting food, instead of pouring away this spoiled rice and spoiled vegetable that we are not able to sell, let me get a pig, because I know pigs will eat basically anything. Let me get a pig that I can use this thing to feed. And that decision today, I would say that as giving birth to a farm of over 200 pigs as of today. So if you experience some kind of setback or delay or setback, so to speak, don't see it as the end of the road. Just look for an opportunity around that thing and find a way to move forward from it till you get to your desired destination. Right now, we are still not where we want to be. We are not where we expect to be, but we are not where we used to be at the same time. We keep moving, but that is because we have to show up every day. We keep persevering. We keep, you know, um, being committed and never giving up. I would say that that has also played out today. Many people would not realize the time this podcast is being recorded, but you know, we have faced so many challenges today that would, you know, um, that would have stopped us from getting this podcast done today, even though we had, you know, um, discussed and planned it for some time. But the fact that we decided to remain committed to getting that result, regardless of whatever challenges. I think at some point you already mentioned that maybe we can get it done tomorrow, but here we are. We have gotten the job done,
And
and
people don't even know the time right now that
yes,
I'm making the podcast.
you
It's
know,
interesting.
it's about past 11 at night, and I still have to touch one or two branches tonight, so which is part of the commitment.
Commitment,
Yes,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
Just know that you want to get something done, regardless of whatever, you will get it done. So That is it. So tomorrow or whenever this podcast comes out and your audience gets to enjoy or get some sort of value from this, they should know that it is only possible as a result of perseverance, as a result of not giving up.
Yep.
If either of us had decided to give up along the way, this would not have been possible. So
Exactly.
that should be a major take home
Yep.
for everybody.
Exactly. That's a very key point, the commitment. But I want to quickly address this first. Yeah, like you really put out great remark to the commitment from my side. But I must also appreciate you also for taking out of your time. I'm
Thank
sure
God.
that you are a very busy man. You have to cover your different branches, and you created time out of no time to be here. So I really appreciate that.
Thank God.
And I hope that the audience can appreciate that by putting to use the insight that you've shared today. And I go back to some of the ideas that you've shared with the audience out there, to really look at what
Opportunities around.
opportunity or problem is out there. You make money from addressing real problems, and most of these problems, like you've highlighted, they are around you. It could even be from you being dissatisfied with something. Like you said, maybe you couldn't get something, then you start realizing that a lot of people cannot get
The same
the
thing.
same thing that you can't get. So there lies an opportunity. And another thing that I want to address now, like you said, sticking to one venture. You can diversify later in the future, but you have to stick to one venture and be commitment. It used to be that in the past that there were limited options, like so you could easily choose. But the case now that we have today is that
Digital
there are
age.
a lot of opportunities that you are being bombarded. You don't even know
What
what.
to do.
And we've had this issue whereby blockchain came up, you run to blockchain. AI came up, you run to AI. Forest trading, you run to forest trading. And I don't think one will be able to make any meaningful progress in any of this domain if you don't concentrate,
On one.
except if you have built on one, then you
And diversify
diversify to
into
the
others.
other.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that thought from you. Is really something to consider. So right now we are uh, coming to the end of the podcast. I will just give you an opportunity, for you to just say one thing that you want to say out there, just briefly, maybe to the audience, maybe you want people to know something, or maybe just to inspire people out there. You go ahead.
Thank you very much once again for the opportunity. I do not take it for granted. Um, I don't have much to say to our audience, but I believe that the purpose of the podcast is to inspire a new generation of agribusiness entrepreneurs. So I would just say that keep going, keep pushing, keep working. There's always an opportunity for everybody, and um, regardless, I know everybody cannot leave Nigeria. Everybody cannot japa from Nigeria, but I hope that one way or the other, we all can all make a meaningful living for ourselves in this our dear country. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there we have it. We have come to the end of the podcast today. Uh, I hope that you've been able to follow us and you've learned a lot of things that you'll be able to apply to your daily lives. I'm the Lasgidi farmer, the host of the program. My name is Toib Aziz, and here is Mr. Kayode Samuel Oyeleke to introduce him again. He runs the Bliss Farm and the Bliss Farm Kitchen. So he has a lot of branches in Ibadan. For our audience in Ibadan and anybody outside Ibadan that will be visiting Ibadan soon, or later in the future, know that there's a good restaurant in Ibadan that sells tasty meal. Not only tasty meal that are healthy, they are produced fresh from the farm. They ensure the quality of whatever they produce, and from there they take it to the restaurant to cook, and they follow due process and maintain a high quality standard. So you want to visit them. And thank you so much for listening to the
Very
podcast.
much.
Uh, don't forget, the podcast is where you get to learn a lot of things about the agricultural sector. You get to learn about the opportunities. You get to stay informed. You are kept abreast with happenings in the sectors. So always keep in touch. You
Make
can
sure you subscribe to our channel.
and make sure you subscribe to our channel. We are on YouTube, The Last Giddy Farmer. You can follow me on Instagram, The Last Giddy Farmer, Facebook also, The Last Giddy Farmer. But my name, Toib Aziz. Are you going to tell the audience like your social media pages and they can follow you, check you out?
Yes, you can follow our fan page at Nature's Bliss underscore NG. As N Nature's Bliss underscore NG. And my own personal profile at Bliss underscore NG. That's BLISS underscore NG. The restaurant page is at Bliss Farm Kitchen and Bar. Thank you very much. God bless.